What happens when a quiet, unassuming student challenges a professor known for his unshakable skepticism? Can a single conversation change the way we think about faith, logic, and the mysteries of existence? This is the story of a classroom debate that turned into something far greater, a moment of profound transformation that left an entire university campus in awe. But how did it all unfold, and what can we learn from it? In the heart of Seoul, South Korea, lies one of the country's most prestigious universities. Known for its rigorous academic environment, the campus is a place where ideas are debated, theories are tested, and beliefs are challenged. Among its many distinguished professors is Dr. Andrew Bennett, a philosopher renowned for his sharp intellect and unwavering skepticism. For decades, Dr. Bennett has dominated classroom debates, particularly when it comes to discussions about religion. His arguments are logical, his reasoning is precise, and his ability to dismantle opposing views is unmatched. But one day, something extraordinary happened. In a philosophy class filled with bright, ambitious students, a quiet freshman named Aisha raised her hand to challenge Dr. Bennett's views on faith and God. What followed was not just a debate, but a moment of profound insight that would leave everyone in the room, including Dr. Bennett, forever changed. The Professor, a skeptic's perspective doctor. Andrew Bennett was a man of logic. At 50 years old, he had spent his career dissecting philosophical theories and challenging the foundations of belief. To him, religion was nothing more than a human construct, a way for people to find comfort in an uncertain world. He often began his classes with provocative questions designed to push his students to think critically. If God really exists, he would ask, why is the world filled with so much evil and suffering? If he is all-powerful, why doesn't he stop it? And if he is all-wise, why do so many religious people live in ignorance? These questions were not just academic exercises for Dr. Bennett. They were a reflection of his own beliefs, or lack thereof. He saw faith as a crutch, a way for people to avoid facing the harsh realities of life. And for years, no one in his classroom had been able to challenge his views successfully. The student, a quiet believer. Aisha was not the kind of student who stood out in a crowd. At 18 years old, she was quiet, reserved, and often overlooked by her classmates. But beneath her unassuming exterior lay a deep and abiding faith. Aisha had converted to Islam at the age of 16, and since then, she had dedicated herself to studying the Quran and Islamic philosophy. She rarely spoke about her faith in class, knowing that Dr. Bennett's critical views made it a challenging environment for believers. But on this particular day, something inside Aisha stirred. As Dr. Bennett posed his usual questions about the existence of God, she felt a quiet determination rise within her. She knew she had to speak up, not to win an argument, but to share the truth as she understood it. The debate, a clash of perspectives. When Aisha raised her hand, the entire class turned to look at her. Even Dr. Bennett seemed surprised. "Well, Aisha," he said with a faint smile, "I'm curious to hear your answer." Aisha took a deep breath and began. "Professor, before I answer your question, may I ask you something first?" Dr. Bennett nodded, intrigued. "Of course. Go ahead." "Do you believe that humans have reason and the freedom to make their own choices?" Aisha asked. Dr. Bennett smirked. "Naturally. Human philosophy is built on the idea that we have reason and free will to make decisions." Aisha nodded thoughtfully. "Then if someone chooses to commit a crime, like harming another person, should we blame the legal system for their actions, or do we blame the individual who made that choice?" Without hesitation, Dr. Bennett replied, "We blame the individual. The legal system provides guidance, but it's up to people whether they follow it or not." Aisha's expression remained calm. "Then why, when evil and suffering happen in the world, do we blame God instead of blaming those who choose to do wrong?" The room fell silent. Aisha's simple but powerful question had struck a chord. For the first time, Dr. Bennett seemed caught off guard. His confident smile faded as he considered her words. The turning point. A profound insight. "Doctor." Bennett wasn't ready to concede. He posed another question, this time about natural disasters. "What about earthquakes, tsunamis, diseases? These aren't caused by humans. Why would God allow such suffering?" Aisha responded with a metaphor. "Professor, have you ever heard of a doctor prescribing bitter medicine to a patient?" Dr. Bennett frowned. "Of course. And why does the doctor give bitter medicine? Is it to harm the patient?" "No," Dr. Bennett replied. "It's because even though it tastes bad, it helps cure the illness." Aisha smiled gently. "Exactly. Just like that. Suffering in life isn't meant to harm us, but to teach us. Natural disasters, though painful, often bring out human solidarity, patience, and resilience. They aren't punishments, they're lessons. Just as the bitter medicine heals, suffering can help us grow. The room fell into deep silence. Some students who had previously sided with Dr. Bennett now looked at Aisha with admiration, seeing things from a new perspective. The final question, a moment of reflection. Dr. Bennett wasn't finished. He posed one last question, this time about the existence of God. If God truly exists, why doesn't he show himself directly to humans? Why does he let people wander in the dark? Aisha's response was both simple and profound. Professor, have you ever fallen in love? The question caught Dr. Bennett off guard. What do you mean? When someone falls in love, Aisha explained, does he have to see his partner every second to know that love is real? Or can he feel that love even when he doesn't always see it? Dr. Bennett was silent, staring at Aisha with a deeper gaze. Aisha continued, God is in everything we feel, in every little miracle in life. He doesn't need to show himself directly because the signs are already clear to those willing to see. Like love, which doesn't always have to be seen to be felt. The class was silent again, absorbing the weight of her words. Even Dr. Bennett, though visibly moved, tried to maintain his composure. So, Aisha, he said quietly, you're saying that disbelief is simply a matter of choice? Aisha met his eyes confidently. Yes, Professor. Just like we choose our actions every day, we also choose whether or not to seek the truth and believe in it. Aisha's words sparked a broader conversation about faith, logic, and the nature of belief. What does it mean to truly understand something that can't be fully explained by reason alone? And how do we navigate the tension between skepticism and faith in a world filled with uncertainty? Dr. Bennett's views on religion have long been a source of controversy on campus. Some students admire his intellectual rigor, while others feel that his dismissal of faith is overly harsh. Aisha's challenge to his views has reignited this debate, forcing students and faculty alike to reconsider their own beliefs and assumptions. But the doctor knows that the medicine, though bitter, is necessary for healing. Her analogy hung in the air, a delicate counterpoint to Dr. Bennett's logic. Are you suggesting, Dr. Bennett pressed, that all suffering is part of some grand plan, some divine prescription for our own good? Even the suffering caused by human cruelty, by war, by greed? His voice was sharp, challenging, yet there was a flicker of curiosity in his eyes. Aisha's faith, though foreign to his logical mind, intrigued him. It presented a perspective he had not considered, a way of seeing the world that defied rational explanation. Love itself, Aisha responded calmly, requires freedom. The freedom to choose, even if those choices lead to pain. We cannot force someone to love us, nor can we prevent the pain of heartbreak. Yet we still cherish love, for it is in the freedom to choose that love finds its truest meaning. Her voice was a mere whisper, yet it resonated through the silent lecture hall. The debate continued late into the afternoon, a clash of ideologies, of faith and skepticism. Dr. Bennett, with his razor-sharp logic, and Aisha, with her quiet yet unwavering faith, challenged each other, pushing the boundaries of their own beliefs. Neither sought to convert the other, but rather to understand, to delve deeper into the mysteries of existence. And in that shared pursuit of truth, a strange and unexpected thing happened. Seeds of doubt were sown in the fertile ground of Dr. Bennett's skepticism, while Aisha's faith, tested by the fires of logic, only blossomed brighter. The debate between Dr. Bennett and Aisha did not end with a clear victor. Both presented compelling arguments, each rooted in years of study and personal conviction. The audience was left in a state of contemplation, their minds buzzing with the complexities of the issues discussed. There were no easy answers, no definitive proofs. The questions raised were as old as time itself, touching on the very essence of human existence and the nature of truth. But in the hearts and minds of those who witnessed it, something profound had shifted. The debate had ignited a spark, a curiosity that would drive them to explore these questions further, both individually and collectively. The debate had transcended the confines of the lecture hall, sparking a dialogue that would continue long after the last student had left. Conversations spilled out into the corridors, the dorm rooms, and even the local cafes, where students gathered to dissect and discuss the ideas presented. It had forced them to confront the limitations of their own perspectives, to question the assumptions they had long held as truths. The debate had opened their eyes to the vastness of human thought and the myriad ways in which we seek to understand our world. to acknowledge the possibility of truth existing beyond the realm of logic and reason. They began to see that some truths might be felt rather than proven, experienced rather than explained. And in that space of uncertainty, of intellectual humility, both faith and skepticism found fertile ground to coexist. Students from different backgrounds and belief systems found common ground in their shared quest for understanding. The story of Aisha and Dr. Bennett is a reminder that some questions don't have easy answers. It's a story about the power of faith, the importance of open-mindedness, and the courage to stand up for what you believe in. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us remember that truth is not always found in debate, but in the sincerity of our search. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, the true measure of wisdom lies not in having all the answers, but in being willing to ask the right questions.